Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and you know Andy ain't missing part 2 of the juice.
Oh man, I'm following you close behind at slow speed for as long as you're willing to go.
Hanging out the window.
I'm just following behind, just talking to you on a cell phone. You just lead this white Bronco, Michael, I'm going to be right behind you.
I got this on this very slow police chase. No, but in part 2, we will be talking his trial, of course, and all of those shenanigans. We'll also be talking his fame afterwards, and his multiple jail stints afterwards, Andy, even though he was acquitted for murder.
His documented crimes.
His documented crimes.
His official documented crimes.
Exactly. Yeah, I love how the Kardashians read it. Oh, not Kardashians, Jesus Christ. There's so many damn names in this.
There was a Kardashian, but we'll get there.
The Goldmans.
Yeah.
I love how the Goldman family redesigned the book.
I don't like. I'm
You know, the book originally came out If I Did It.
Yeah.
Okay, but they didn't publish it, whatever. And then when OJ lost the rights to it, they basically awarded it to the Goldman family because they're like, hey, they can make money off of this if we sell it. So the Goldman family basically was like, yeah, we definitely want to publish the book, but we want to make a few small changes. Like, I did it.
Let's make the if.
No, super tiny.
Super tiny.
That's what they did. So, like, at first glance of the book, it says, I did it, the story of a killer. Right? And then if you look really close, in the I, in I did it, there's a if.
There's a little tiny
Little tiny if. Yeah.
But I felt so dumb, even though I know we're talking about OJ. When you said the Goldman family, my brain went to like the Goldbergs on TV, like that network show. I was like, what did the Goldbergs do?
The Goldbergs?
Is this the episode I missed?
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm going to bring you some new OJ information.
Yeah, I was like, what am I missing
That's going to be our thumbnail. How are the Goldbergs involved?
Yes.
All right. Roll that intro, Andy. Let's get into it. You know I wasn't going to let OJ pass without writing a song about it, right? Here it goes. Welcome everyone to part 2. Here's my song about the juice. Orenthal James of all names. That's what it read on his lawsuits. Back in his prime, he was pretty fast. Out in Buffalo kicking ass. But when his heyday was done, OJ stayed on the run. He rides a bronco, keeps a steady pace. Out on the highways, the lawmen give chase, and he's desperate now, gun trembling in his hand. All strung out, spinning every lie he can. Hey, he's OJ. Where you going, OJ? Slow down now. If he did it, here's what he'd do. He'll write a book and explain it all to you. How can he make you understand? He's not the killing kind of man. But now the juice has run out. What's TMZ gonna talk about? Whether he's down below or up in glory, I can see him and Johnny swapping stories. He rides a bronco, keeps steady pace. Out on the highways, the lawmen give chase, and he's desperate now, gun is trembling in his hand. All strung out, spinning every lie he can. Hey, he's OJ. Hey, he's OJ. That's all I got. All right, so let's get into the trial of the century.
Okay, I'm ready.
That's right. The Bronco chase is over.
They situated my jury booth over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Ready to be unbiased.
Yeah, sure. Like everybody talking about OJ, right? Just a bunch of unbiased OJ people. But Simpson's criminal trial of course, was dubbed the trial of the century, and opening statements were on January 24th of 1995. The jury was sequestered for nearly 9 months, longer than any jury in California at the time.
I feel like if you're
it
waiting
may still
until,
stand.
I feel like if you have to wait until 1995, I feel like that's when you can officially say this is the trial of the century. Because you've gone a long time. There's only 5 more years until 2000.
Right. What are the chances a better trial comes up?
In these 5 years, yeah. What's going to happen? Seriously. Like a president having like a porn star hush money trial, something.
Right.
What's going to happen?
Pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
And it lets you know how big this trial was. The fact that it happened in, 95 years of this century happened before this. Yeah. And there was nothing better.
They were like, nothing even holds a candle to this.
No. That's because OJ assembled a dream team of lawyers that costed him an estimated $50,000 a day. Now, to cover the cost, Simpson sold some of his football memorabilia, which that'll come up later. Now, the dream team was headed by Johnny Cochran, of course, along with Robert Kardashian, Robert Shapiro, Barry Scheck, Alan Dershowitz, and F. Lee Bailey.
Robert Kardashian, the Kardashian with the real ass.
Never heard of him. The only one with the real ass.
Is that the OG ass.
He probably had some ass work as well.
I'm sure at this point. Look at David Schwimmer. That's not a real ass.
I'll tell you who didn't have ass work. Marsha Clark, the lead prosecutor, who had a very strong case against Simpson, mainly built around that pesky glove, Andy. The one that matched the one at the crime scene.
I mean, there's only 2.
And it was found on Simpson's property. Not to mention DNA testing connected him to the bloodstains left behind.
I didn't realize how much the phrase dream team is such a 90s phrase. That phrase was thrown around so much because of the 90s. It was like when that first Olympic dream team came out, with Michael Jordan and stuff back in the day. It's like dream team just became like a 90s phrase. It just became so 90s. It's like the dream team.
People really don't say that anymore.
I know. Like I said, it's not
they
even
say like my squad as if that's better.
Yeah,
I don't really think that's better.
You don't have the dream team.
Your squad's just normal. What are you got?
Me and my boys.
Fucking WAD squad.
WAD squad.
Nothing sounds good. Aquad squad. What's your squad, bro?
Like I said, there's no more dream teams no more.
There's not.
Even the All-Stars.
Let's bring them back, dream teams.
We need to have a dream team.
That's right. But even though Marsha Clark, the prosecutor, had all of this seemingly damning evidence, Cochran raised doubts about the handling of the evidence, which Andy touched on in part 1. And of course, famously dismissed the matching gloves in his closing statements, noting, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. You may have heard that once or twice.
I mean, it's basically on a bumper sticker at this point.
Pretty much. On October 3rd, 1995, the jury found Simpson not guilty of either murder. And he was like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. He's just looking at the jury like, oh, thank you.
Praise hands. Praise
immediately.
Hands. Humble brag. Praise hands.
Yeah. And it was one of the most watched television events in history. 150 million people.
Dude, it was unreal, dude. People stopping work, put up on the screen in Times Square.
Oh, God, yeah.
It stopped the world for a little bit watching that OJ trial. And it completely divided an entire nation. It really did.
Yeah. The short series, Oj Simpson versus the People, it is pretty damn accurate. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that is an excellent portrayal. If you guys have not watched that and you're into OJ at all, even if you're not, it's a damn entertaining show. It's a great short series.
Almost like as an American, you kind of owe it to yourself to watch that just to educate yourself on how big of an event that actually was in American history.
But despite being acquitted, they weren't quite done with OJ yet. And he was hauled right back to court for a civil trial related to the deaths. And in February of 1997, he was found liable for their wrongful deaths and was ordered to pay their families, the Goldman family and the Brown family, $33.5 million in damages.
Which I'm somewhat confident they have still not all seen of yet.
You don't think so? Even with the book sales?
I could be wrong at this point, but I think I'd heard somewhere recently that was he still had not paid all that he had owed to the families.
I don't doubt it.
No, OJ was pretty stingy when it came to that money later on in life.
And he was doing whatever he could to hold on to what he had. One of those things was moving to Florida in 1999, 2 years later. He moved there in large part due to a state law that prevented his home from being seized to help cover these civil damages. Yeah, pretty smart. He auctioned off memorabilia to raise money, again, and hoped to return to show business in the future. Not a chance, OJ.
Nah.
OJ got canceled before canceled was a thing.
Yeah, there's no coming back from this, OJ. No. I don't care if you got proven innocent. Yeah. The public opinion has turned.
It's like, bro, Rick and Morty won't even let Justin Roiland back for
No.
It's like you're definitely not coming back in Hollywood.
Kevin Spacey has Oscars, my man. And he's not even doing a commercial,
They
okay?
don't give a shit.
It's like, no.
Exactly. But not long after his move to Florida, OJ was back in the headlines, and not for good reasons, Andy.
Oh, were the last ones good?
Great point.
Yeah.
He allegedly attacked another driver in a road rage incident in December of 2000, but was acquitted the following October. That's easy peasy for him. He's like, road rage incident. I'll easily get off for this.
He didn't even have his driving gloves on that day, so what were they going to tie him with?
Exactly.
What evidence were they going to have?
Exactly. Then, in 2007, Simpson and Clarence C.J. Stewart robbed 2 sports memorabilia dealers at gunpoint in a Las Vegas hotel room. Simpson was immediately taken into custody and told police that he had just been trying to reclaim his possessions. Except for when you sell something, OJ, it's not yours anymore.
And
that's crazy.
And when you try to reclaim your possessions, you normally don't do it at gunpoint, holding these 2 men hostage in a hotel room. Like, that's not normally how you retrieve a lost item.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All studying OJ again did for me was just reiterate how oblivious this man is. Like, he is beyond like a narcissistic personality. Like, he thinks that everyone believes everything that comes out of his mouth.
The ego on OJ Simpson is unheard of.
Again, Cuba Gooding Jr. in The People vs. OJ, amazing job.
Yeah.
Like, he portrayed that perfectly.
They talk about that heavily, and like everything about OJ Simpson is the sheer size of his ego throughout all of it. The line, just the sheer idea. Like, I made that joke of like, I'm not guilty, I'm OJ, but his mentality of like, I'm not black, I'm OJ, I'm not white, I'm OJ.
Yeah.
Like, he thought that like everybody looked at him as special and could do no wrong. He was like, yeah, I'm OJ. Look at me. Look at my numbers. My numbers don't lie. Look how charming I am. I can do whatever I want. No one's gonna get mad.
Right.
And then, honestly, after the fucking trial, I think you kind of gave a man almost like a get out of jail free card. You made him think that he actually was untouchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, to an extent.
Just what he did not need.
No, you really needed this man who already had an ego that made Gene Simmons look like a nun. Like, this man could just rival anyone's ego, and now you gave him literally a get out of jail free card, or at least a card that says like, whatever, you can do what you want, you'll get away with it.
Yep.
Like, there will be no consequences for you.
Exactly. And he ran with that shit, dude. It just made him even worse.
Very fast, too.
And in 2008, him and CJ were found guilty of 12 counts of armed robbery and kidnapping. And that December, they were sentenced to up to 33 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years.
Yeah, they threw the book at it was a bit of a personal thing right there. It was one of those, the judge was like, "Oh, we're going to get you now. Every charge possible. You know what? I think we even saw you on a security camera jaywalking across the street to get there." Just hitting him with everything.
Rightfully so. Fuck him, man.
Just anything they could throwing at OJ this time.
Well, he spent nearly all 9 of those minimum years in prison. He sought a new trial in May of 2013 by claiming that one of his attorneys, Yale Gallanter, had given him poor advice during his 2008 trial.
What was that advice? Don't just smile. How about you don't stop smiling the whole time, OJ?
We got a quote from him if you want to read it here.
It was my stuff. I followed what I thought was the law. My lawyer told me I couldn't break into a guy's room. I didn't break into anybody's room. I didn't try to muscle guys. Those guys have my stuff, even though they claimed they didn't steal it.
Well, there you go. Straight from OJ's mouth.
Like I said, what was your lawyer's advice? Like, hey, OJ, don't say that to the judge, okay? How about can you just sit there and look remorseful? How about that? Can you look stop smiling? God damn it.
Stop it. But 2 months later, Simpson was granted parole on July 31st, 2013. That covered 2 convictions for kidnapping, 2 for robbery, and 1 for burglary with a firearm. The Nevada parole commissioners made the decision based on the lack of previous criminal convictions on Simpson's record, ironically. But it was a small victory, though, because he was forced to remain behind bars for his other related sentences anyways.
Like I said, it's all about that official documented crimes.
That's right.
On his criminal record, innocent. Yeah. There was nothing there. Exactly. Minus like that thing for like spousal abuse or like the one incident, like a misdemeanor here or there.
Yeah, that little spousal murder.
Not the murder, but just like the New Year's before where he beat the dog shit out of her.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then had to pay like $500 to a women's shelter. And, what like this.
It's like, how does that help her?
Yeah, the minuscule fines or whatever they gave him at that point. He's just whatever. She was fine. Nobody got hurt. We were both wrong. yeah, we were both wrong. She was wrong in choosing you, and
right.
you were.
Exactly. But now he's still behind bars, like I said, but his legal team filed an appeal in October of 2014, but the Nevada Supreme Court panel rejected it, ruling that there was no reason to overturn the court's decision. So Simpson continued to serve his sentence at the Lovelock Correctional Center in Lovelock, Nevada.
I wonder how many times in prison OJ probably still asked his lawyers, is like, listen, can we get Johnny on the phone? And his lawyer like, Johnny's been dead for fucking, oh my God.
But tell him it's OJ.
But yeah, but like, tell him it's OJ.
Tell him it's OJ.
Like, just tell him OJ's come back. Like, he'll call. He'll call. Like, come on. I know he's not answering right now, but
tell him I'm waiting for his call.
Tell him OJ's waiting.
But 3 years later, OJ has his parole hearing on July 20th, 2017. 70-year-old Simpson appeared via video conference in front of the Nevada Board of Parole in Carson City to plead his case. And at the hearing, which was live streamed and broadcast on television, Simpson answered questions from the parole board saying he knew the memorabilia dealers well and that he actually owned the property he took from them. And he also referred to the men with him as security guards and that he hadn't brandished a gun at anyone, Andy. And we have a quote.
I've basically lived a conflict-free life. I was never a guy who got into fights on the street. I'm not a guy who lived a criminal life. I'm a pretty straight shooter. Sloppy stabber, but pretty straight shooter.
You added that last part. To be fair, Andy, you added that last part.
The security guard's line that's a fucking Diddy line if I've ever heard one right there. It's like, were you talking to Diddy in prison? It's like, listen, Play, you just say they were security guards and you never did nothing.
You sound like Cat Williams.
A little bit, yeah. But no, here's, like I said, there was some Diddy little logic right there.
Yeah.
I do love OJ's mentality too. It's like, it was my memorabilia. It's like, OJ, just because your name is on the jersey doesn't mean it's yours anymore. You understand that, right?
Right, exactly. And not to mention, how many times in your life did you sell off memorabilia for a quick buck? Yeah, and how many times could you be, like, that was another thing. It's like, how can you even prove this was your memorabilia? You've signed so much stuff over the years. You've autographed everything. You've sold this, given this. And yeah.
So it was like, that was a big thing in the case. Was like, how do you even know this was your shit?
Yeah, he's just doing anything he can to make himself look good. I mean, even that bullshit quote about being a straight shooter. He also said that during his jail time, he started a Baptist religious service in prison, and that he followed the rules. Andy?
I've done my time. I've done it well, and I've done it respectfully as anybody can. I've not complained for 9 years, and all I've done is try to be helpful.
Exactly. Thank you, OJ. Simpson also said that if released, he was looking forward to spending more time with his family.
I've missed a lot of time, like 36 birthdays with my children.
His oldest child,
36 birthdays.
36. Because
I get it, but still,
it's a lot of birthdays, Andy. His oldest child, Arnell, also testified for the family in support of Simpson's release. She said, "My experience with him is that he's like my best friend and my rock. I know that he is remorseful. He is truly remorseful." Bruce Framong, one of Simpson's robbery victims, also testified on Simpson's behalf. And he said, quote, "It's time to give him a second chance. He made a mistake." Yeah, he was paid off.
Yes, like,
fucking paid off.
Guy's literally got a sniper's red dot on his forehead. Like, I think that OJ needs a second chance. Just slightly shaking on the stand, trying to...
But Simpson's lawyer said that OJ had apologized to Alfred Beardsley, the other robbery victim who died in 2015, and that he made it right. So just so you know, I mean, there's no way to prove this, but I apologize to him.
I mean, I said I was
made
sorry.
It right. So
listen, we were both wrong. Everything got all right. Nobody got hurt. We were both wrong, all right? But we made it right.
Exactly. Now, the parole board granted Simpson's parole, and he was released from Lovelock just after midnight on October 1st, 2017. So I was in Vegas when he was released.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You were there. The juice was loose in Vegas.
Wow.
It was a weird week.
It was. Now, after his prison release, Simpson lived in Las Vegas while on parole. The newly free Simpson was repeatedly approached by local businesses eager to strike a deal. Everyone is talking about reality shows. His attorney, Malcolm Laverne, told Vanity Fair, "We get flooded with calls with people saying, 'We've got a $50 million deal for Simpson,' or 'We're an agency and we've got a business proposal for Simpson.'" He's ignoring them all, though. He's a senior citizen, he's enjoying life, and he's just breathing, learning to exhale after being in jail for a decade.
He's just breathing, he's just finally letting his hair down, he's just living those golden years,
Uh-huh. And he got a few of them, didn't he?
I love the fact it's like, we're getting reality shows everywhere. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Like, just like Casey Anthony, I'm sure you're getting a ton of reality shows offers down there.
Are they all on ID? Yeah. Fucking Oxygen.
On Crackle, some shit. Some straight to streaming thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to have a $50 a month subscription for this.
However, in November of 2017, he was reportedly kicked out of the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas after getting drunk and breaking glasses at the hotel bar. He was said to have cooperated with the security guards who escorted him out, but probably because he's old now.
Yeah, who do you think you are, Nicolas Cage? You can't do that.
Seriously.
Nicolas Cage has that on lockdown in Vegas. That is
Except for Nicolas Cage does that at coffee shops.
That is his shtick.
It's like, Nick, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, bro. Come on. I know it's Vegas, but goddamn.
I don't care. Where's my almond milk? I asked for no foam.
Okay, Nick, okay. Oh, my God. Simpson later filed a lawsuit against the owner of the hotel that threw him out, claiming unnamed employees had defamed him by telling celebrity news site TMZ that he had been banned from the property. In April of 2021, the two sides reached an undisclosed settlement to settle the dispute. So,
like I said,
some cash exchanged hands here or there,
The ego is still there. Even at this point, he will sue you for making him look bad.
Yeah.
It's all about his image to him. It's all about how everybody else sees him and how he sees himself.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got drunk.
How dare you tell the truth about me?
You got drunk, acted like an asshole, got thrown out of a bar or thrown out of a hotel. And someone
he probably really did get banned.
I'm sure at the time he was probably told, do not come back here. And that's probably what the employee said. He was like, he was told to get out and not come back.
Yeah.
That's probably all they said. And they probably took that. He has a lifetime ban.
And of course, TMZ is going to word it the worst way possible.
Oh, yeah. You know Oj Simpson dragged out by his neck.
And banned from local hotel. Yeah. But later that year, in December of 2021, Simpson was granted early release from parole, making him now a completely free man, Andy.
Ooh. The juice is really loose now.
Yeah, but it may have been a little too late, because Simpson's health was rapidly declining in his final years. And in May of 2023, Simpson posted a video to social media site Twitter, which, obviously is now X, in which he said that he had recently caught cancer and, he had to do the whole chemo thing, he says, and he didn't specify the type of cancer.
He was still so much ego. He thought that cancer's not going to slow me down. I'm OJ. No. I can't die. I'm OJ.
Exactly. But in February of 2024, a Las Vegas television station reported he was undergoing treatment for prostate cancer, and rumors began circulating that he was in hospice care. Simpson denied the latter in a video posted just prior to the Super Bowl on February 11th. I actually saw this on YouTube where he says, "My health is good. I mean, obviously I'm dealing with some issues, but I think I'm just about over it."
Yeah, over life. Yeah. I'm just about over being here. I'm just about done with it.
Yeah. And 2 months later, his family announced that OJ had died in another social media post. It was April 10th, 2024. They said OJ had succumbed to his battle with cancer. The 76-year-old was surrounded by his children and grandchildren at the time of his death, and his body is being cremated.
I did hear that I need to figure out if this is actually confirmed or not, but I did read that the people at OJ's deathbed were told they had to sign NDAs. It was something about his lawyers had them sign NDAs at his deathbed because it was if he's going to be on morphine and all these painkillers, whatever he might say might be incriminating. So you can't repeat what he says.
Yeah.
And, it was literally, that's what I read. I was like, that
makes sense.
OJ right there. The fact that his estate can still sue people. His lawyers have all this stuff still going in the works.
Yeah.
So I really do believe that. I believe that all his kids and grandkids were like, all right, we're ready to see Pop now. All right, can you please sign this? Initial here,
yep.
Sign here, blood print here.
Exactly. They didn't want his ass slipping up.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe he wanted to clear his conscience right at the end.
Oh, God, I could imagine that. Like I said, I always imagine OJ's death kind of like a Deadpool death of just him being like, come here, I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
I actually used Alamo instead of Hertz.
I just want to say, yesterday, I was the one that clogged the toilet.
I just want to say, I was actually a Cowboys fan.
Oh. No.
It's like, no,
you son of a bitch. But no, in death, Simpson actually left behind a mountain of debt, largely stemming from the damages that he still owed the families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman.
See? Like I said, he still owed money to those people. He ain't paying shit.
Lawyers representing Simpson and the Goldmans estimated the current totals were between $114 million and $200 million today due to accrued interest.
Jesus Christ.
Now, the executor of Simpson's will told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that he would deny the Goldmans' collection efforts, and he hoped they get nothing, before later walking back his statement and changed it to, Simpson's assets likely won't cover that amount.
They ain't gonna get shit from us. They're not getting $1. They're not getting a... What was that? Oh, we don't have enough money to pay?
Yeah, we actually don't.
Okay, so...
So all that stuff is true.
We're gonna walk that back. Actually, we're gonna, if you guys actually, we're gonna take 5. We're gonna take.
He's actually not my client anymore.
You know what? Actually, he can't pay our legal. You know what? Actually, fuck this guy. I'm actually done.
Fuck this guy. He did it. I'm out. But given his celebrity status and very public legal history, Simpson has naturally been the subject of multiple movies and books, as well as TV shows. The book If I Did It. Simpson planned to publish the ghost-written book, which was a hypothetical account of how he would have committed the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. But after a publishing deal with HarperCollins fell through, a federal bankruptcy judge awarded the book's rights to the Goldman family. This is what I was talking about earlier. Now, the family added their own commentary to the work and retitled it If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. The book was published in September of 2007.
I still think that shows OJ's ego. Just the idea of he's going to publish a book called If I Did It and detail how he would have done it.
You've seen the interview, right? Where he's talking about the book and that chapter.
But just the idea of him, the ego to put that book out and to try and make money off of it and to promote it and just to be this is If I Did It, OJ.
What's crazy is, he was like, oh, I need money. But I guess it just goes to show how in debt he really was. Mm-hmm. Because he was making $25,000 a month just on his NFL pension.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to an average person, yeah.
Yeah.
But with someone with OJ's debts and OJ's lifestyle and OJ, all these things
that's what I'm saying. It just goes to show how much debt he really had.
Oh, yeah.
Now, around the time of If I Did It's originally planned publication, Simpson taped an accompanying interview with HarperCollins publisher Judith Reagan. However, it was shelved due to the victims' families' concerns that Simpson would find a way to profit from its broadcast.
Absolutely.
He definitely would. In March of 2018, the footage finally aired as part of a 2-hour special titled Oj Simpson, The Lost Confession. In the interview, Simpson described a hypothetical situation in which he encounters Goldman at his ex-wife's home and takes a knife from his friend Charlie as things turn violent. Simpson also expressed some regret related to the physical abuse of Nicole, saying, "The one thing that hurts me as much as anything in this, besides being considered a murderer, is being a batterer."
You were a batterer.
You were both.
Documented. That's actually documented, OJ. The cops went there. There's pictures of her face. You had to pay settlement. That's documented. You beat the dog shit out of your wife, and everybody knew that.
Yeah.
For them to be I just hate to be called a batterer. That's the worst thing I can be
Worse than
called.
a murderer, Andy, according to OJ.
Jesus. Oh, my God.
Christ.
Your ego is insane.
And in June 2016, ABC debuted OJ, Made in America. A documentary aired as a 5-part miniseries that examined Simpson's athletic career, murder trial, and acquittal, and pop culture presence. The project won the 2017 Academy Award for Best Documentary. And then, of course, there was People vs. Oj Simpson, which we've raved about in this show already. The saga of the 1994 murders and his criminal trial returned to the spotlight for the 2016 first season of the series American Crime Story, The People vs. Oj Simpson. The series featured actor Cuba Gooding Jr. in the role of the fallen football star, and like I said, he did an amazing job, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and this is capturing his ego, capturing the way he spoke to people.
Mm-hmm, his charisma. It was on point. And that's the one, the People versus OJ is the one that's a docudrama. That's a drama, that's full actors, but the other ones are documentaries. And like they said, he has been the subject of so many documentaries already, and all of them are big documentaries. It's not these little like small little YouTube things. These are like Ken Burns level documentaries about Oj Simpson.
Yeah, they're legit. So today, what is he worth, Andy? We talked about his finances a little bit. It's just like, the only people it sucks for is his victims' families, right? Like they're never going to see the retributions that they were rewarded. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Simpson's net worth was estimated to be around $3 million at the time of his death. His primary source of income has been a fully funded NFL pension, which I referenced earlier, was $25,000 per month. Now, given the civil damages he owed, it's no surprise Simpson's wealth dropped over the years. According to court documents filed amid his 1992 divorce, Simpson estimated his net worth to be as much as $10.8 million, or which would estimate to around $18 million today. So that was in 92. So it's dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, how much memorabilia have you had to sell off, dude? Like you've had. I know you lost lost $500,000 basically in the divorce, and the Ferrari, and what was it, like $25,000 or $10,000 a month in child support or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, still just Oj Simpson's like net worth and his career just consistently went down.
Yeah.
Like I said, when he tried to come back to show business, you're not coming back to show business.
You're not coming back to show business, bud.
The last time,
unless it's going to be a reality show about your life.
Yeah, you're going to be in documentaries now. Yeah. You're going to be a talking head in things now. You're not going to be, an actor anymore. Like like I said, his ego, just to think that like, well, I was acquitted, everyone's just going to forgive me, and everyone like just completely ignoring the fact that, dude, you split an entire country in half for like 2 months, 3 months, however long this took for like the trial to go through. Like literally people were angry and in the streets. I know there was a lot of stuff previously with, Rodney King beatings and a lot of tension already, but OJ's trial literally was a powder keg.
Yeah.
And he just acted like, well, the trial's over. Everyone can go back to normal now. And it's like, what do you mean normal? You broke normal. There is no normal anymore.
Yeah. He was broken, man. You know what never gets mentioned in any of the OJ Simpson shit, and it's not an excuse, but CTE.
Yeah, to an extent.
Was OJ ever? Can we do that? No, he would. No, he was cremated.
Mm-hmm.
See, that would have been good to know. Like that'd been a great brain to examine,
right?
And see if there were any damages. I mean, like because his behavior, the just compulsive, random, the anger, the blacking out. So he says, you know what I mean? Like he's used that phrase a few times in that confession. That he had in the Lost Confession. He references that, like, I don't know if you want to call it blacking out or whatever, But either way, like that type of head trauma has to be recognized, but the NFL will never let that shit happen.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. I guarantee you if those lawyers tried to touch any of that, like if you're to his defense, why would you not? Why would you not bring that up for something? All the shit he's had to be defended for.
Because I feel like it could almost open the door for more wrongful death or more.
I think because the NFL would fuck you up.
That too. You could if you brought in the CTE, if you brought things like that, it opens the door for those families to then go after the Buffalo Bills or the San Francisco 49ers or just the NFL.
And some people might say, well, that gives them an out, that gives them an excuse and all that. It's like, no, but it'd be interesting to know the reason. It doesn't give them an excuse. Nobody's excusing Aaron Hernandez for what he does, but everybody has a lot more sympathy.
Yeah, no one excuses Chris Benoit for what he did to his family, but when his brain was actually examined by medical teams, like after his body was taken, like one of the examiners was like, this man has the brain of like a 75-year-old man with Alzheimer's because of how much concussion damage he's had.
The murders happened, 12 years after his career? Maybe 14? Somewhere around there. Over 10 years after his football career.
But in that time, there was also random outbursts of violence and anger and impulsivity.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So I would think that it would just get worse with age. Any CTE damage or that you receive during your playing years, I feel like it's only going to get worse with age.
Yeah, brain damage is irreparable. Your brain doesn't repair itself really. Like that's why Alzheimer's and dementia is so bad because it's just there's no fixing it. Your brain just slowly starts dying.
Yeah.
And if your brain takes enough damage and those neurons stop firing, they're not gonna just re-kick back off one day.
Nope.
So yeah, it's like you would have almost hoped that they would have been like, yeah, let's examine Oj Simpson's brain, like to see if something was different. You almost think he would want that with his ego. Like,
I know, right?
Look at my brain. Look how big it is.
Yeah.
It's swollen, OJ. It's not big.
It's scraping your skull on all sides.
It's squeezing out your ears, OJ.
I just thought it's just something that should be considered in all of the OJ shit. You know, it's like obviously his post-career life overshadows his career, but you can't overlook the fact that he was a goddamn running back in one of the most violent sports.
In one of the most violent times,
he played one of the most violent positions in one of the most violent sports in one of the most violent times.
Yeah.
He took some heavy hits, guaranteed. Yeah, he delivered them, but I mean, that's no better either. Anytime your head's involved in a collision, whether you deliver the force or not, it's not good for your brain.
Yeah, what years did OJ play football again? 70s?
70s. I think his last year was in 77 or 79.
So yeah, he's playing against the 76 Raiders, the people who are going out there with casts on their arms and knocking people out and trying to break nose. Like,
it's a different game back then.
Yeah,
dude.
it was a game of criminals and brutal people.
It was a brutal game.
Yeah, it was a mess out there.
It was indeed. But you know what, Andy? Don't let it be a mess in your armpits.
Ooh, is it
You
not?
need to get some Oh My Gaia.
Ooh, it's not going to be a mess there.
It is not. Oh My Gaia will clean those armpits right up because Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. And their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while maintaining effectiveness. And at Oh My Gaia, like I said, they use only all-natural, paraben, and aluminum-free organic ingredients. Guys, you can check them out at ohmygaia.com. That's OHMYGAIA.com or at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram. And because you guys are True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the code word CREEPER, CREEPER, for 15% off your order at ohmygaia.com, OHMYGAIA.com. Again, that's code word CREEPER for 15% off. Tons of scents to choose from, guys. Start off with True Crime Pine. That's what I recommend. The old TCG original.
Summer's coming, guys. You don't want to be stinky.
Right. I call it Oh My Gaia staple now.
It's a flagship.
There we go. Flagship scent.
Yes.
This is very nice. But guys, there's tons of them. There's also beard oil and scented oil. Again, ohmygaia.com, and there are links right below the description of this episode, as well as links to Patreon, patreon.com/truecrimeguys, where guess what? You can get extended episodes just like this. Like this exact episode you're listening to is on Patreon, but it has more stuff and it doesn't have any ads.
That's true.
Yeah, and it probably came out before this one.
It most likely did.
At least a little bit. But yeah, it's a much better listening experience. But on most of these regular episodes, especially the newer ones, Andy and I, when we come into the studio, we just turn on the mics and we record all of our pre-show banter, whatever we want to talk about the subject, whatever we want to talk about going on in our lives, or just whatever. We just kind of shoot the shit anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes.
Sometimes it becomes a small higher thoughts episode.
Sometimes. But yeah, we throw that on the end of the episode on Patreon. And then, like I said, of course, there's no pesky ads. Well, except for Oh My Gaia. Oh My Gaia is not pesky.
No, that's everything.
Exactly. But yeah, guys, patreon.com/truecrimeguys. You also get access to the Patreon exclusives that we do every single month, the regular episodes that are not available here on the free platform. You also, and the $5 tier, you can hear just the banter. You can hear strange shorts. You can hear higher thoughts. All kinds of shows. 5-Minute Murder with Lorne. Remember that guy?
Back in the day.
But yes, guys, everything we ever created here at True Crime Guys is on Patreon. I guaranteed you'll be entertained for hours. So again, check that out, patreon.com/truecrimeguys, right below the description of this very episode. Please, guys, support the people that support us, Oh My Gaia, and any sponsors that you heard in this episode. And check us out on Spotify. Make sure you leave a review wherever you're listening. Follow us on social media at True Crime Guys. Subscribe on that YouTube. Putting out new shorts all the time and new strange and unexplained videos. Speaking of, we got to record a new one tomorrow, Andy.
Yes, we do.
All right. Anything else, Andy?
I think we're all good, man. I think you did a good job. We got the juice all out of our system now.
That's
the juice
good.
is done.
I am done with the juice.
The juice is all gone.
That's right.
All out of juice now.
We are out of juice, and I'm glad. I'm ready to move on to something fresh.
Yeah. We're running out of juice now anyway. Probably should end this episode pretty soon.
Sounds good. All right, guys. We'll see you next week for a new True Crime Guys case. Until then, just keep on creeping in that Bronco.
Bye.